Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Breaking Through Your Breakup Masterclass. I'm Greg Marino. I'm your relationship coach and breakup expert. For the next 90 minutes, I'd like to share with you some of the things I've learned over the past couple of years, how to navigate conflict, how to reduce pain and suffering, how to get back and reclaim your love life in this presentation. And so the things you're going to need just for the next couple of little minutes, thanks for joining us. You're going to need a pen and journal for notes because I'm big on taking notes. We've got a lot of information for you today, and I'd love for you to make the most out of it. So make sure you have a pen and journal next to you for notes. If you get thirsty, I know I do, I'm going to suggest that you get a glass of water, maybe a snack. I do have you for about an hour and a half-ish. We may go over, we may go under, but if you get a little famished, then you know you came prepared. I'd also love to ask for your focus and attention because we are going to be going at a pretty fast pace here, and just to come with an open heart and mind and the willingness to grow. So in this presentation, you're going to learn how to identify the things that are preventing you from moving on. We know how breakups can be extremely traumatic. They can be really triggering. We can feel like we've lost ourselves. And so we're going to reclaim your power, identity, and life. We're going to talk about smart investing your time and energy to heal the heart and clear the mind, as well as prevent yourself from making the same mistakes. But who am I? My name is Greg Marino. I'm a breakup recovery coach, and I'm obsessed with helping people discover their neglected parts of self so they can rise into their next potential. I love music. I've been a musician for 15 plus years. I picked up surfing the last 5 years. I'm obsessed with dogs. I have my three-legged dog, Patricia, here. She's a Mexican rescue. You might hear her if she wants to say hello. I love being creative. I'm a traveler. Right now, I'm recording this from Mexico in Sayulita. I love food, and I'm a personal mentor for men and women. My first offer doing online coaching was a creative art therapy program where I help people get in touch with their intuition through creative endeavors and in turn guided them towards manifesting their greatest desires. I also host healing retreats of all kinds in British Columbia. And so this is the kind of work that I really, really enjoy doing. Getting into breakup recovery has just been kind of, how the cards fell. And I am super passionate about helping people through the hardship that comes with ending a romantic relationship. And I also run the Head and the Heart Breakup Recovery Relationship Coaching Facebook group, which you probably have heard by now. And if you haven't, please go check that out. I'll be sure to add you right away, approve you right away. This is where I share valuable content and I do weekly live streams that are all relevant to human connection, relationship, and breaking through breakups. But the pattern of my own love life was that, this is why I'm so passionate about this, right? I felt very hard many times. And what I noticed is that I would abandon all my interests time after time again. I'd put them on a pedestal and I'd idealize them. And this would end up in self-sabotaging. The neglected parts of myself would kind of just wither away, and I would put the horse blinders on and pretty much just, eclipse myself from the things that made me, me. And it led to, having relationships last for 2-3 years max. And it's kind of a rinse, wash, repeat pattern that I knew I had to change. So one too many breakups left me wondering what needs to change. You can see me there, pretty rough. I was feeling so lost, empty and hollow inside. I don't know if that's what you're feeling right now, but if you are, I was given no choice when I was feeling that, but to go on a soul journey of self-discovery and learn everything I could about human connection, relationships, love, and breakups. And so I read a crap ton of books. I'm obsessed with knowledge, and I'm obsessed with learning how to solve some of the harder and difficult emotions that we deal with as humans. And so these are a couple that I actually just want to briefly touch on because they are powerful. So let's get started with Getting the Love You Want, and a beautiful, beautiful standard to read by Harville Hendrix. And then later, an edition came out, an updated edition with his wife and partner, Helen LaKelly Hunt. And this book showed me the strong correlation between parents and who we are as romantic partners and who we choose as romantic partners. It introduced me to concepts like imago, a form of communication that helps resolve and reduce conflicts. And in a nutshell, it made me discover why I chose my romantic partners. And so along with that, I was able to actually understand how I operated on a subconscious level. And in doing so, I was able to make wiser choices. And I stopped myself from falling so hard so quickly and investing so quickly. This book also helped me resolve the power struggle that prevents greater intimacy. I learned to listen and really listen to my partner more and increase fun and laughter in my relationship. The next book is Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning. If you haven't read this book, it is extremely, extremely eye-opening. It says 12 million copies sold. It's a little dark, but it really shines some perspective on hope in the darkest times. And this book taught me the importance of setting goals and creating the right kind of hope for direction. The book focuses on love, hope, responsibility, inner freedom, and the beauty to be found in both nature and art as means that help one endure and overcome harrowing experiences. Super good book. Go pick it up if you don't have a copy. The next book is The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. This one's really awesome. This guy is really witty, and I love listening to his audiobooks, actually, because he has such a profound way of portraying really simple, really complex ideas simply. And he argues the fact that, this book is essentially, he argues the fact that we actually have the capacity to be happy whenever we choose to, that happiness is a choice. So this powerful read explored the idea that as long as we're breathing, thinking, living beings, we always have something to be grateful for. And in doing so, we create our reality by choosing what we let limit our happiness. It's a book on desires and fears, and how beating the fears and self-imposed limits can make all of your dreams come true. And I listened to this with my partner, and it was really, really, really powerful. We laughed a lot, and it's really, really good. If you don't have a copy, go get one. Of course, this is Audible's #1 of 2021, Atomic Habits by James Clear. Now, this is an extremely, extremely cool book that helped me change the way I tackle every day. And how I tackle my goals, how I move closer and closer to my goals, right? So it talks about how bad habits make time your enemy and good habits make time your friend. Putting 1% in a day towards your goals will compound over time. So how to change your habits so that they work for you instead of against you. And this can be applied to any aspect of your life. Of course, How to Do the Work by Dr. Nicole LaPera, the holistic psychologist, was really, really interesting for me because it introduced me to powerful techniques for nervous system regulation, attachment styles, and understanding your subconscious better, right? So it offered support and tools that allow people to break free from destructive behaviors, reclaim and recreate their lives. And it's nothing short of a paradigm shift. This is a celebration of empowerment that will forever change the way you approach mental wellness and care. I really, really highly recommend it. This is another way you can recognize your patterns and heal from your past to create yourself for a better future. All right. Now, these books changed my life, and they will change yours if you read even just one of them, right? And they did more than just change my life. What did I discover through reading these books and actually doing all the things to self-discover? I learned how to redirect my focus so that I could continuously nurture my own growth, feel deeply fulfilled, and find a sense of alignment with my soul purpose. And I did this, the catalyst was a breakup. This is the path that I was brought down, and this is the path that you're on now. So I really hope that you enjoyed this presentation that I have for you, because through it, I hope that you also get to learn how to continuously cultivate 3 things. And those 3 things are confidence, boundaries, and standards. Because if you do that, the result is simply joy. Finding aligned partnership, finding the right person for you. You know how to resolve conflict. You know how to give each other space. You know how to show up for one each other. Patty agrees. And that's my partner, Mary, and I, here in Mexico with Patty. Patty wants to say hello. And just to give you a little beautiful shot of Sayulita there. And we're extremely happy. My partner, Mary, is also a coach in somatic healing and feminine embodiment. And I originally started working with men doing men's work, but I now work for men and women and all those in between who want to identify differently. And that's what I want for you. So what do these three things have in common? Confidence, boundaries, and standards. And why are they so important? Well, self-worth. They all contribute to your idea of self-worth. Okay, and what is self-worth? Self-worth determines how every aspect of your life either expands or contracts. Okay, your self-worth is not determined by anyone other than you. And that's what I want you to make really clear in this presentation, right? No one else but you has to take full responsibility over your life because it's you who's still writing it. You have the pen to self-author what happens from here, always. And you can't control everything that happens in your life, but you can choose how to react, right? How you react to life circumstances is how you take ownership over your life. So confidence, there's 3 levels to confidence, and let's go over them. There's surface confidence. That's, what you wear, how you show up on the surface level, and how you, the things that you do in terms of self-care on an appearance level that empower you, right? You're going to feel different if you're just wearing, pajamas opposed to a suit, right? It's energetic. People are going to notice that. And a lot of things are going to change about your confidence. Lifestyle is the activities and the things you do on a daily basis that amp you up, right? I listen to music. I love to surf. I love to cuddle my dog, Patty. I love to have phone calls with people that I haven't talked to in a long time. I love to talk to strangers. I read a lot of books on self-worth and confidence. And lifestyle is pretty much, your activities and how you want to identify in terms of how you want to be seen, right? And how you see yourself. What is your lifestyle? And on a core level, confidence at a core level is, without a question, what you feel you're capable of doing and what you feel you're capable of not doing, right? Often we won't take steps forward if we don't have the confidence at a core level. A core level is super, super important, right? But before we foster the confidence, we need to be brave and courageous. Taking brave and courageous leaps will ensure that you can cultivate and foster confidence. Confidence doesn't come like that, just at the snap of a finger, but bravery and courageousness can. And it all happens when you talk about, when you have that self-talk. And we're going to talk about that today. But I understand that a heartbreak creates such dramatic emotional pain that our mind tells us we're not worthy of love or capable of giving and receiving love so intensely that we'll refuse to try anything new. And we become emotionally immobilized and we get into a negative feedback loop. So what is a negative feedback loop? A negative feedback loop, it gets broken down into these 4 boxes, right? It begins with our potential. What do we feel is our potential? What are we capable of doing? If we don't feel like we're going to run a marathon, we will not take action towards running a marathon. But if we train and we learn from other people who've run marathons and we build up the confidence to take action, we will take action, right? Potential is the first step to taking action. Without any potential, we won't take action. When we take action, though, that is going to determine the result. And often, the first time we do something, we might fail, right? But what I always say is that failure is a prerequisite to success. Failure is a prerequisite to success. And often what happens when we do take results, when we do take action, and we do have results, that will instill our belief, right? And if we fail, we're going to believe that we're a failure. And so that perpetuates the life pattern of familiarity. And we're not going to try anything new. But within this cycle, take your potential action result belief, this life pattern of familiarity, it will render itself sharper, more clear, more confident. The more you do things, Failure is a prerequisite to success. How often have you tried something for the first time and then you succeed with flying colors? Pretty much nothing. And I love to use surfing as a metaphor. I've been surfing for 5 years now, and the first 6 months I was face planting and running into other people and just making an utter fool out of myself. But you know what? I enjoyed the process and I committed to this because I knew that practice does include making progress, right? And if practice equals progress and progress equals happiness, then practice equals happiness, ultimately. And you can enjoy the journey. So confidence, you have to believe that you will recover. You have to bypass those previous experiences that told you otherwise, that you're not deserving, that you don't have potential, that, the results you got last time weren't adequate to where you want to be. But if you say you can and you will, then you bypass the experience by believing first. So ask yourself, what is the long-term cost if you continue to play small, right? What if you keep doubting yourself? If you keep ruminating over the past and staying where you are? If you're fearing the future about always the worst case scenario, what's going to happen if you try to change others instead of yourself, right? What are the long-term costs if you continue to do these things? The reason we can't move on so easily is because love is a drug, all right? And we're addicted to it. And let me explain why. Brain studies show that the withdrawal of romantic love activates the same mechanisms in our brains that activates when addicts are withdrawing from substances like cocaine and opioids. When you can't get the heroin of being with your ex, your subconscious mind actually shows the methadone of all the memories you have of them, but only the good ones, right? Does that sound familiar? Your brain is trying to give you your fix by constantly reminding you of the positive times, right? This is what makes moving on so damn difficult, right? You're perplexed as to, why it is you can't move on so easily if you're accepting that it's over. Addicts know they're addicted, but a broken heart does not, okay? But now you do. Hope you look that happy right now. 3 common things broken hearts do to compensate getting its fix. Number 1, you idealize your ex, right? Often we are constantly thinking about the good times and all the things that they were and how perfect they were and their perfect smile and that time you guys made love up on the hill and that perfect moment. Number 2 is you're becoming obsessed with what you could have done differently. How, if you had just let that one thing go, or if you just had cooked that one meal, or if you had just not brought up that one thing that one time. Number 3 is you inauthentically change for approval. Sometimes this is the bargaining phase, right? In any grieving process, one stage is that you start bargaining and willing to change for approval. And that's dangerous because you're going to be selling yourself short of your own authenticity for validation. Right? But there's 3 ways that you can begin to heal and stop idealizing your ex, right? There's 3 ways you can begin to stop feeding your obsession with fixing things and ruminating over the past. There are 3 ways you can stop the emotional pain caused by seeking their approval. And I'm going to show you what those steps are. Step number 1, make a list of all their bad qualities. When we're idealizing our ex, we're forgetting that we need to balance this out. If you're ready to move on, this is really, really, really going to help, okay? Because instead of, idealizing them, we're actually going to balance that out by making a list of their bad qualities and realizing that, you got to remember their frown. You got to remember that after the time you made love up on the hill, that you actually argued for 2 days afterwards, and or the things that annoy you that you don't actually have to deal with anymore, right? Because every time you're being nostalgic, or you can catch yourself idealizing your partner, you pull out this list, right? You keep it handy. You keep the list on your phone, and you keep reminding yourself why it ended, and remember that all the bullshit you won't have to deal with anymore is right there. And that's a great way to realize that, maybe this person wasn't so good for me. Your mind will try to tell you that they were perfect, but they were not. And either was the relationship. And that's what you need to remind yourself. You need to remind yourself that you are on this healing journey and that it ended for a reason. Whether you're going to get back with them or not, it's really important to realize that a person is not, quote unquote, the one if you guys aren't together anymore. The one is going to be someone that you're next to with on your deathbed, right? You will never know if they're the one until the last day you're alive. And there's so much to look forward to. So, and if you want to get over them, you have to remind yourself of that frequently, right? So step number 2 is to accept and let go. You cannot change the past, but you can always have the choice to make conscious decisions that decide your future. No one is taking that away from you. So ask yourself 3 questions. Number 1, do you really want to settle for someone who isn't absolutely crazy about you? Number 2, what is the cost of waiting for someone to change/choose you versus you being the change and choosing yourself? Question number 3, by refusing to accept and let go, who are you refusing to let into your life today, tomorrow, next week? So step number 3 is to reestablish who you are, okay? When we are going through a breakup, there are voids to fill. We might have lost our friends. We might have lost we might have lost housing. We might have lost, career, things related to our career. We might have lost different activities. It's important that to know that your heart wants those voids to be filled, and you don't need that other person to fill them, okay? So to reestablish who you are, you have to be diligent with this. You have to be diligent to heal, because if you do, you will win. And these are a couple of things that you can do to reestablish who you are. Think about your missing activities, your social life, creative endeavors, and also remove all reminders. And we're going to go into this really briefly here. Okay, so missing activities. Trauma is stored within the body. Often people think that trauma is the event, but it's actually the scar that's left, the emotional scar that's left within the body and held within the body. So for me, I was able to learn surfing, and I just dedicated myself and committed myself to surfing, and it was so healing. And so that's kind of, sports and nature all in one, but nature, go somewhere beautiful outdoors you've never been before. Create new memories, create new neural pathways, and know that nature heals, and it's just free therapy, guys. Sports, move the body and energy by finding your suited activity. Join a team, do it with a friend. Mine was surfing. Yoga, begin your day with yoga. There's a really, really great playlist. So many playlists on YouTube that you can look at. One of my favorites is Yoga with Adrian or Yoga with Kat Meffin, which is a little step up. And this is a really great way to stretch in the morning and evening, but also to move that stagnant energy and heal the body from within. Okay, you can look this up. There are so many things that moving the body will, how it will benefit you. Okay, it's like I'm trying to prove that exercise is healthy, but dancing. Now, if you can move that booty for thousands of years, humans have. Yeah, sorry, had a little brain fart there. Dancing, move that booty. For thousands of years, humans have been dancing to ritualistically initiate themselves into the next chapter of their lives. Okay, so you can celebrate that. Let's talk about social life a little bit. We are nothing without others, right? Where's your support team? It's really important to understand your sphere of influence. We're going to talk also in detail about that a little further in this presentation. Potluck. Nothing brings people closer than food, right? So plan to host a dinner with your closest friends, let it all out. If you want to get a little bit of wine, go for it too, because food brings people together, and it's also healing and nourishing. Have a boys' night or a girls' night. Your community of same-sex, like-minded people is so important when going through a breakup. Don't be afraid to ask for support, all right? Theme parties, organize a party where you can express yourself and let it all out. Make sure you don't invite your ex, be silly, who cares? Events, go out with friends to a show, a concert, a movie, a poetry slam, theater, museum, and see what's out there, right? Reactivate your social life outside your relationship. This was a big one for me, okay? Creative endeavors. Any creative process is healing, and it's really, really true. I studied creative art therapy for 11 years, and art has the capacity to uneclipse people from past events and create something out of seemingly nothing. And this is what's really beautiful about this. For me, it was music. When I got through a really bad breakup, I actually started making electronic music and I started a new group, and the results were amazing. I actually got to play Canada's biggest electronic music festival, Shambhala. And if I hadn't gotten through the breakup, I don't think I would have had the time or energy or motivation to do that. Right? So music and poetry, music can express what words cannot and is a gift we all have. Poetry is a way in which we can create beauty out of pain. Making art, whether it's painting, drawing, arranging pieces of nature, or photography, bring out your inner artist and begin sharing your experiences. Have an art party, invite friends over to create art together. Or housework, what kind of repairs, changes, or renovations have you been putting off? It's time to get them done, right? Now, here's a tough one, right? This is kind of like eternal sunshine of the spotless mind. You have to remove all reminders, okay? And it's really, really, really hard. You can make a box or you can give it to a friend, but clear the path for renewal. Delete all photos. If you want, you can also burn old photos, right? Not your style, bury them. It's okay. I get it. For me, I really enjoyed burning them, but for some people that's a little too extreme. If you guys are still friends, just give yourself some space. It's really important to energetically and spatially and on a timeline to give yourself some of that space. No contact for 3 to 6 months is super standard. Delete them off your phone, delete them off social media. Right? Let them even know if you want to, if they're not a super narcissist, they're not going to manipulate you. You can be like, hey, I'm going to do this because I need to for myself. And if you love me, you'll respect me. Sell or move their personal items. If you feel that like it's really time to give that off. This is a tricky one, right? Like I'm not saying like sell their car without their permission or sell their clothes, but if they gave you a gift and you don't really want it anymore, any gifts or items that were given to you by them, it's like this, it's now yours, but if it reminds you of them, then maybe it's time to actually put it in a box and put it in the attic. Be logical. It's common that everything reminds you of your ex, because yes, they did once use a spoon, but be logical with what you toss and what you keep in terms of your essentials. So reestablishing yourself with your version of these 4 areas of life will help you rebuild your confidence. Your social life, your activities, these creative endeavors, removing reminders, these are all going to help you foster confidence. But how will you find time and energy to do these things? Well, creating boundaries, my friends. Boundaries are what help you protect your energy and prioritize your time and wellness. Our personal levels of comfort, and we all have different boundaries. So we're going to talk about that because often it's really hard for people to set them. All right. Boundaries and self-worth are tied so closely together that once you know how to set them, your intuition graduates your reality into corresponding with your highest needs and values. The people you meet and the places you'll go when you set boundaries will be of higher quality, integrity, and truth and love. Okay? Because healthy boundaries are a reflection of your principles, rules, and guidelines that you have set for yourself. A breach in those boundaries arises when anyone, and I mean anyone, family, friends, coworkers, strangers especially, disrespects, ignores, or isn't aware of those principles or personal needs. So it's really important to learn how to state them, right? You need to learn boundaries. If you are tired of people's shit, if you're tired of people pleasing, If you're tired of not pursuing your own passions, tired of giving more than you're getting, if you're tired of giving away your life to other people, if you're tired of giving and giving and giving and giving and giving, it means you don't have good boundaries. So I'm going to teach you how to do these boundaries, because whose job is it to set boundaries? You. It's you, girlfriend. It's you, boyfriend. It's you guys. Okay? I love this image, by the way. It's like force field, get out. And that's often people's reactions. It doesn't, they might be really shocked, but boundaries are really important, because often we have to experience what we don't want to know what we do want. Does that make sense? We become far stronger from the things that go wrong in our life than with the things that go right. And so we're going to talk about boundaries 101. All right. First, we're going to talk about boundaries 101, and then I'm going to give you clear examples of how to state them and how to offer them. You always have choice to accept or deny what you are willing to tolerate from another person. It is just within our capacity to draw the line, right? If you're not enjoying yourself, you have a choice to walk away. If you're not enjoying yourself and you're not comfortable, you have the ability to say no, right? Setting boundaries will save you time and energy, so you can focus on the things that are truly important to you and only you. How do you know if someone doesn't respect your boundaries? Well, they justify their bad behavior. They try to blame you for the things that go wrong in their life. They cause you a lot of shame. You start doubting your decisions. You sense something is off. Your decision is disregarded. And this is important because we're not taught how to set boundaries. Growing up, we rely on external validation to approve how we feel and what we want based on all the things, all the ways I'll say that again. Growing up, we rely on external validation to approve how we feel and what we want based on all the ways that the systems of parenting and authority shaped us. It's important to take a trip back there so you can see how the people in your life made you feel enough or not, right? This is where our trauma responses come in. This is where Dr. Nicola Perez, How to Do the Work, came in, right? She talks about nervous system regulation, talks about attachment styles. She talks about the needs that we got and didn't get growing up and how they later show up in romantic partnerships. And we talk about that here too. Whatever you are not changing, you are choosing. You always have the final say in what you let into your life. You always have the options to say no without explanation, shame, or guilt. No is a complete sentence. But how do we actually set boundaries? How do we actually do this? I'm going to tell you. Step one, when someone wants something from you, when someone asks something from you, you have to distinguish the feeling behind the response you want to give, okay? Is it your intuition or is it fear? The difference is that your intuition will be guiding you towards taking care of your own needs and wants to ensure your well-being, right? So are you going to say things because you can get behind it and you can agree with it and it's mutual and there's something in it for you? Or are you going to do something because there's nothing in it for you? And I'm not saying don't be kind. I'm not saying, don't do anything for other people, but how much are you doing for others without getting anything in return, right? Your fear is concerned about avoiding, or is there fear in the decision? And let's think, for example, if someone wants you to, let's say it's a big request, if someone's asking for a lot of money or something and you don't feel comfortable, do you want to say yes because your fear of rejection or abandonment or not being good enough by taking care of their needs, right? This comes in so many different shapes and forms, and of course it depends. But what's really important about step one is that you distinguish the feeling behind how you want to respond. Is it intuition or is it fear? When you set healthy boundaries early on, others will see that you see this and respect you. Otherwise, they'll see how easy it is to get you to say yes to something you otherwise would say no to. You won't be able to show up for others if you don't show up for yourself, right? Step two is to choose privacy over transparency. This is a really good one for today because of, social media and this public facing world. You don't have to share everything or anything with anyone, right? You have that choice. So when someone asks you for some personal information or like, how are you feeling? You don't have to communicate that if you don't trust them. That's a boundary. That's a breach in boundary if someone's forcing you to talk about things that are extremely personal. We forget that in this public facing world, not everything has to be public. So treat yourself as sacred. Not everyone gets access to you. These are energetic boundaries, right? Boundaries are energetic. An energetic boundary is like an invisible layer of skin around your soul and emotional body that helps us to define where we begin and end in relation to another. Some of the false beliefs and imprints that block your energy boundaries, though, are thoughts like, I'm not safe if I assert myself. People pleasing validates me, right? I need to please others to feel validated. I'm supposed to take on others' emotions, right? If someone is being really angry at you, you have to put up with it. It's like, no, there's boundaries there you can put in. I can't handle this reality, but you can, right? So at this point, here are some, different kinds of boundaries. I'm not going to talk about them all here right now, but you can pause this video and take a moment to read them because there's intellectual, material, physical, emotional, time, and sexual. And these are some examples, right? Because how will you communicate when it's time for you to remove yourself from a conversation? How will you communicate that your ideas aren't being respected, right? That you aren't being respected? Boundaries not only protect your time and energy, but they also help to protect your relationships. They make us examine our own limits and challenge us to communicate more directly, which helps to prevent miscommunications, misunderstandings, and built-up resentment. For example, early on, my partner and I stated that we really appreciate our space. We appreciate autonomy, individuality, and that we don't have to like the same things and that we do need time apart. Saying that really early on really saved us in the long run because we just didn't have to think of the worst case scenario or, think irrationally if one of us asked for space. We knew that was crucial in honoring each other's boundaries. And in order to communicate them, you need to be consistent. You need to be assertive. You need to know your limits. You need to practice them. And because practice makes perfect, and you need to also stay compassionate and warm when expressing your boundaries. And we're going to talk about that. When people keep pushing your boundaries, they do it for numerous reasons. Some have low self-esteem or are self-serving. Some struggle to connect in a way they previously failed to, but for many, it's a simple lack of awareness and inability to see what boundaries they're pushing or how it is affecting you, right? So if someone has bad boundaries and you're hanging around them, often we will have that, we just have bad boundaries as well, right? We don't see things as they are, we see things as we are, and we attract what we are. And we're going to talk about that on a vibrational level later on in this presentation. But what I want to get to is that you don't have to put up with toxic behavior in your life, right? Because if someone is struggling to connect and you just feel like something's off and they're making you feel bad about it, or they just have this kind of awareness, and they're treating you like shit, it's time to do the work. Or if you're doing that to someone, like maybe this is an opportunity for you to rise to your next potential, right? You need to clearly define what your intellectual, emotional, physical, and spiritual boundaries are with everyone when they're breached. Ideally before they're breached, but often people won't know your boundaries until they're breached, right? So that's the time to stop, pull them aside, and have a conversation with them, a loving conversation. Be like, hey, you stepped over this line. I'm not comfortable with this. And if it happens again, I'm going to have to cut you off. I'm going to have to terminate this relationship, right? And this is where the rubber hits the pavement, guys. How to communicate boundaries. Saying no. It's a complete sentence, right? Saying no is a complete sentence, and you may find it easier to sacrifice your own needs for others out of fear of upsetting them or them having pushback. You need to expect pushback if you're gonna lay down some boundaries, because they're probably not used to that, and it's okay. But you have to refuse to take their blame, right? You have to ask for the respect. You have to accept help. You have to ask for space. You have to communicate your discomfort when that happens. Look at this sassy girl. She's not really being sassy. She's just being strong, right? There's a difference between sassy and independent, right? And this is for both men and women, right? So let's talk about this like verbally. Here are some examples of communicating those boundaries verbally. Saying no. No, I don't feel safe with that, and I will not move forward from here. I ask that you respect my decision and not convince me otherwise, please. Right? Like, see the tonality in that, see the language, hear the warmth, but the sternness in it. I think that's what's really important about setting boundaries, is that you actually have strength and power, but also kindness, right? And also just like legitimate kindness and compassion with it and warmth. When it comes to blame, someone's blaming you, you can say, I will not let you blame for the results of your own actions. And I am drawing the line here. Boom, done. Right? That's like, I love how concise these can be, because after that, if they want to argue that, that's when you just walk away. Respect. I would appreciate your respect if we are going to continue speaking to another. If not, I will have to cut you off. Support. I need support with something right now. Are you available? Right? Seeking the permission, asking, because asking for support, people might not have the capacity to support you right then and there. And it's unfortunate, but you have to accept that as well, right? But, choose wisely, choose your friends wisely, guys. It's not about how many friends you have. It's about the quality of friends. Space. I am going to be doing my own thing. Done, right? Asking for space. No, I'm going to do my own thing. Hope you understand. Thanks. Discomfort. I am not comfortable with this, and I would like to make that clear. So ask yourself a question at this point. After I'm done with these steps, I really like to ask the question, what specific areas of your life do you need to set boundaries for today? Right? What are you grateful for in regards to being aware of your limits? How have you already set boundaries? And how can you expand on them? Question number 3, what is the long-term result if you don't start making healthier boundaries today? In 1 year, in 3 years, in 10 years. Right? And this comes to standards. Oops. And this leads us to standards. Raising your standards will improve the quality of your life. Just hands down, it will. And we're going to talk about the different areas in life that you could start raising your standards, okay? We have within ourselves the power and possibility to create our environment that enhances the quality of our life. For the sake of this presentation, though, let's agree that everything is a vibration, right? You're a vibrational being whose cells and organs pulsate at a particular frequency. Our brain pulsates with electromagnetic energy affected by our emotions, health, and well-being. We can think of our rotation around the sun as a frequency, the rise and fall of the tides, everything in life. And we each vibrate to our own personal tune, right? Disease and depression, negative behavior patterns are all symptoms of a body and mind being out of tune. The vibrational energy doesn't end at your skin, though. All right, this is where the open-mindedness comes in, guys. But science has caught up with this. They continue out into space and connect everyone and everything on a matrix energy field. In terms of how you experience the world, the energy frequency you give off is then sent back to get received by you. And we can feel this on an emotional level, different kinds of levels, really, but mostly an emotional level. You might have said, like, they're on my wavelength, or I'm in tune with this person or situation. right? So if your internal vibration is one of anxiety, depression, anger, or sadness, your life experience may very well provide you with the people and situations that reflect this back to you, but not anymore. And you can raise and enhance your internal vibration that will create a situation that reflects back a more positive life experience, right? But how? But how? Step 1, determine how you think about yourself. Get a journal and begin writing down your thoughts every morning. Create more coherence and harmony between your body and your thoughts and your body. By writing to encourage you to overcome the voices within that spew negativity. Thoughts like, you aren't good enough, everyone is better than you, you are unworthy, your work is unworthy, so why bother? There is no point in trying, you'll only fail. Does that sound familiar? Everyone deals with this inner critic, whether they come from your ex, middle school, a friend, or that nasty voice in the back of your head. These nasty voices follow us around in our lives. So writing suggestions, your very first thoughts, right? Your desires, what you're worried about, your chores of the day, affirmations, memories, dreams, anything. Just open up your journal and start writing. But remember, no censoring, no sharing with others. There's no wrong or right way to do it. Okay? If you forget in the morning, do it in the afternoon or night, but do it every single day. Okay? And this is for the men out there. This is not a diary. This is a personal journal that is going to be a steadfast way to cultivating confidence, to reclaiming your power. It is a third-party companion to help you navigate these hard emotions. And it is such a cathartic release to be able to write, but you have to do it every single day. If you skip a day, don't be so hard on yourself. Just pick it up the next day. I actually made a whole other class on journal writing and manifesting, because I have called in so many things in my life just through writing them out in a journal. And words are magic. That's why we have to spell them. Words are spells, right? It's going to help you identify and determine what limiting beliefs are holding you back and where. And what are limiting beliefs? Limiting beliefs are the glass ceiling of subconscious thoughts that are keeping you from self-improving and growth, right? We all have them. And often we're too busy thinking about other things that we have to do that we forget that we actually have limiting beliefs. We all do. So step number 2 for raising your standards, I want you to double up or double down. When we raise our standards, we become more valuable and our reality shifts. So there's 3 ways that I'm going to tell you. So there's 3 ways that I want to share with you how to raise your standards. Raising your standards in relationship, career, and health. Your relationship is a direct reflection of your standards. Some people are in a relationship, but they aren't happy because their standard is that they must be in a relationship, but not that they must be in a relationship with passion and excitement that cultivates pure and joy. Okay, I'm going to try this again. Your relationship is a direct reflection of your standards. Some people are in a relationship, but they aren't happy because their standard is that they must be in a relationship, not that they must be in a relationship with passion and excitement that cultivates pure joy and love. Others may not be in a relationship because their standard is to never get hurt, right? So you have to figure out, what is your sphere of influence within relationships? This is relationship with yourself, relationship with others, and ultimately your sphere of influence are the 5 people that are closest to you. Where are they at in their lives? Because there's that saying that you are the sum of the 5 closest people in your life. You want better results in your life? Hang out with better people. It's not about having the most friends, it's having the best quality friends, friends who are supportive, friends who just, can laugh with them, friends who are dedicated to their own growth, friends who want you to succeed, friends who don't bring you down, right? For me, I was really, really fragile growing up, and I hated being teased. And this is one thing that I have to say as a disclaimer, is that if you have friends out there and they're teasing you and they like to joke on you, that's actually a sign of endearment, right? Like the Dalai Lama and Desmond Tutu, they made fun of each other's religions, but they did it because they're both holy men, and they just, they realize that it's a sign of endearment. Sometimes you have to be really close to someone to be able to rag on them, right? But so I had to navigate that with my own insecurities, to realize that, I have friends, and they pretty much give themselves a license to tease me, right? So sphere of influence, change who you hang around with if you're not happy with where you're at in life, and watch your life change. Number 2 is to stop people pleasing. Just do things for yourself. It's okay to do things for yourself. If you don't know how, let's talk. Cut off toxic relationships, period. If you don't feel good around them, why are you still with them? Now, career, your income right now is a result of your standards. It is not the industry. It is not the economy. If you are not making the money you desire, you haven't reached the position you want, or you are stuck in an unfulfilling career, it's because your standard is to accept any offer that comes your way. Raise your standards and you'll raise your worth. And so a couple ways you can do this is to just double your prices. Ask for a raise. You have full permission to do that. Visualize going to your boss before doing that, and visualize you asking the question and them saying yes. Say no to free work. If someone asks you to work for them for free, say no. This goes back to boundaries, right? Now, we live in a world where there's an abundance of opportunity on the internet, and this is where creating new offers and monetizing your passion comes into play. These are a couple ways that you can start making more money. Health. Our health is also the result of our standards. Many people wish they were thinner, healthier, or more fit, but wishing something and willing it are not the same thing. You must raise the standard of your health by making it a must. Tell yourself that you must get healthier in order to lead an extraordinary life. And this is the difference between saying that I should work out or I must work out. When you say I should be working out, you're actually just telling your mind that you could and should be doing something, but you're not actually going to do it. Whereas I must work out if I do want to get these results, right? Change your shoulds to musts. Drink more water. These are simple little things you can do. Simple little things you can do are drink more water, go swimming more, throw out all your sugar, morning and evening routines, small changes in your fridge and pantry, driving less, walking, running, biking more. Now, these are things that you can literally do today, guys. Dedicate 20 minutes or 45 more minutes. If we can scroll for 3 hours a day on social media, we can, by golly, we can work out a little bit more. Yes, it's going to be hard starting off, but I promise the results, the more you do it, the more you're going to enjoy it. Okay, these are endorphins, natural endorphins you have within you that want you to succeed. So part 1 of raising your standards kind of explores the power of affirmations to help with thoughts and self-control. But part 2 is treating yourself with more respect, more assertiveness, and to know that there are alternatives, right? And so we've covered a lot today. And if you're feeling like this confused little bunny, you're like, what the heck just happened? You're not alone. And if you could take a deeper dive into strengthening the areas of your life needed to overcome heartbreak and get yourself out of your own way, would you? Think about that. Well, you're in luck because I have a great comprehensive program for you called Self-Initiated, my program that turns your breakup into a breakthrough. It's an 8-week one-on-one comprehensive program where we talk about the emotional, expressive, and energetic aspects you need to fortify yourself to either get the partner back or move on for good. You decide. Now, in this program, we work closely together to talk about your personal vision, what you actually want. what are the results you want to see at the end of this 8-week container? Together, we put a strategy with my skill set and my mindset training to energetically fortify yourself with the tools needed to turn your breakup into a breakthrough. Now, I've brought some people through this program before, and what they've had to say is, your course has allowed my mind and heart to expand. It's made me realize how much we are here for each other. The routine of writing has helped me organize my thoughts, listen better to my inner voice, and I'm actually amazed at how quickly I've seen results. Ian Mulligan came to me lacking zero confidence. He was heartbroken. He thought he lost the one. And within only a couple of weeks, he was back on the scene. And now I'm pretty sure he's actually with someone who he feels really, really confident with, and they're both deeply in love. Matthew McKinnon says, working with Greg showed me that I have the capacity to be creative during difficult times in my life. His passion and guidance were extremely encouraging and insightful, and I'm fortunate to have worked with him when I did. Let him be your guide for manifesting what your heart truly desires. Now, Matthew came to me wanting to learn how to express himself a little bit more. He didn't have the best boundaries, and he also didn't have a great idea on how to talk to women. And so with my training, he was actually able to get on the scene, find a partner, and they're happy. They're actually super, super happy together. So in order to get your spot in Self-Initiated, if this sounds like something that you'd be interested in, the next step is that I want to hear about your single most powerful insight today in this presentation. I want to know what kind of action you are going to take that follows that insight. And how we're going to do this is that we're going to have a 45-minute one-on-one discovery call. It's completely free. You know how to contact me. You can either contact me through Facebook, or you can get at me on my website at gregmarinocoaching.com, or you can email me at gregorypatrickmarino@gmail.com. Because in order to be self-initiated, you do need to take courageous, bold leaps. You do need to be able to build the confidence. You do need to have boundaries to fortify yourself with, and you do need to raise your standards. Within Self-Initiated, we take all those aspects to the next level so that you don't have to feel alone, so that you can actually get sleep at night, so that you can cultivate the self-love needed that attracts aligned partnership. So you don't have to feel like this anymore. So I just want to thank you for being here for this presentation. I hope you enjoyed it, and you know the next steps. Give me a ring if you need help with becoming self-initiated, and I believe in you. You're worthy of it, and we'll see you on the other side. Thanks a lot, everybody. Talk soon. So thanks so much for watching this presentation. If you do want to talk to me, you know how to contact me. There should be a link below. Self-Initiated is a 8-week one-on-one mentorship. The Facebook group is Relationship Coaching Breakup Recovery. My name's Greg. I'm a relationship coach and breakup recovery specialist. I hope to talk with you guys soon, and know that you're worthy of love and that you will get through this. All right, talk soon.